Welcome to the Area Podcast from the Ames Regional Economic Alliance. I'm your host, Eric Smith. On today's episode, we're joined by Nicole Romey, owner of Bold Dance by Peach. She shares her journey from lifelong dancer to entrepreneur, how she built a studio centered on confidence and belonging, and why dance is about much more than performance. It's about developing skills that last a lifetime. This episode is presented by Flynn Wright, a full-service ad agency in Iowa that works with some of the best brands in the world. When you love what you do, you show up differently. And for more than 40 years, the love of advertising has fueled the people, the energy, and the bold ideas at Flynn Wright. Nicole Romey, thank you for being on this episode of the Area Podcast. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. So this episode is very personal to me in that I'm not a dancer, but you are the owner of Bold Dance by Peach. Yes. Full transparency. My daughter is there, but I will say that part of the ask on this for you to come on and be part of an episode of this is that it's inspiring what you're doing, and I'm being serious. Dance is in heavy rotation in our house, and I give credit to what you and the team and what you have built at the studio for all of that. And I just think as a business owner, it's worth unpacking here a little bit. So thank you for coming on. How is your summer going?
It's great. It's going well. We're dancing a lot still. Just completed our third session. On to our fourth here in a couple weeks. We have an open house coming up. The train keeps rolling. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been good.
I mean, the summer seems to, like, you blink and it's completely gone. I mean, I just feel like it was just, really just a couple weeks ago that, you were concluding, your typical season. You follow sort of the school year and have the big recital in June. There's literally hundreds of people that come for this for the weekend, and it is a lot of dancing. It's a lot of kids. It's a lot of parents. It's grandparents. It's all the things. Yep. And then you blink and you get through the summer, and here we go again.
Yeah, it goes fast. People don't probably realize this, but as soon as recital is over, we kind of start the plans for the next season, and it takes that whole year to kind of get things rocking and rolling for the next year. So, it feels like we just finished, but we're already starting the next one. So
here we go.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk about dance. Let's back up and let's talk about how this started for you, because I would imagine for you and dance, it started when you were very young, and it seemed to take hold of you. And then we're going to fast forward, and we're going to get into the business as it exists today.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't really think of a time in my life where dance wasn't a part of it. I started when I was 2 in Des Moines. Danced all the way through high school. I started competing when I was 6. We won with my studio lots of national and regional titles, and then was captain of my high school team. On to Iowa State, was captain of Iowa State's team, and my sophomore year started teaching at a local studio here in town. When I graduated, I actually graduated with a psych degree.
Okay.
I worked a decade in the psych field, but taught on the side because I just kind of discovered this passion for working with kids.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Beth, my old studio owner, decided to retire. So for the last 3 years, I was the sole teacher, and then bought her out, and Bold was kind of born. We moved locations, changed the name, and kind of redid that business model, and here we are 9 years later.
So when you were in high school and even college, did you think that there was like an end to your dance life and career, or was it always going to be part of it? I mean, you mentioned, you went to school and you got the psychology degree at Iowa State, by the way. Was there ever an opportunity where like you knew it was going to continue, or like you were just capitalizing on it at the moment?
Yeah. Funny you say this because my friends in high school would laugh at this question. I always told them I was not going to be a dance teacher because everybody told me that's what I was going to do, and I don't like to be told what to do. So I, came to college. I knew that I had a passion for helping people, and that's why I went into the psych field. But obviously, I could not leave dance behind. Danced through college, and it's such a just huge part of who I am that when I started to realize I loved to teach, I knew that was the path.
So prior to teaching, like what was it that kept you coming back? Because I mean, it's like any sport or really any art, it's kind of a combination of both of those things that, there is the learning part of it, but there's inherently a certain amount of frustration that comes with it because you try to get it perfect, which is absolutely impossible. And then, you introduce sort of like your own, interpretation of things. And it's this constant progression of trying to get better while never being able to be perfect at it.
Right. Dance is very unique. It's a unique sport. And I love the way that you worded that. For me, what kind of kept me going, obviously I love to perform. Yeah. I mean, that is the big piece of it. But I think it was more the community it built for me. The studio that I grew up in was amazing. I mean, I, again, danced in Des Moines. I've had many of my classmates open dance studios or continue coaching or teaching or somewhat professional. I have classmates that are in LA or Vegas dancing right now. But I mean, so obviously it made an impact on a lot of us. I think it was just that community that it built. It taught me lessons that I definitely am using now as a business owner.
Yeah. Like what?
Resilience, confidence in yourself, not giving up when things get hard, working as a team, taking critiques and criticism and, getting up and trying again. So yeah, there was just so many pieces of that just, I think, formed who I am now. And like I said, has now bled into me passing this on to the next generation and being a business owner.
So on the business owner part, you had mentioned that obviously you had the love and then you were teaching and you love to teach. I have found, going through talking with a lot of business owners and doing it ourselves as well, that once you make that jump from something that you love, that leads to the business, but oftentimes that is what you need to get rid of in order, not get rid of, but you do less of it when you are the business owner. Is that the case? Did you know that was going to be the case? Was it inevitable that you were going to be a business owner?
It's funny you say that because I've joked so many times that teaching dance is probably the smallest amount of things that I do with this job now. Yeah. It is the part I love the most. Obviously, it's what got me into it. Yeah. I still teach, but there are so many hours outside of the studio that I'm spending on all of the other things. There's payroll and hiring and costume ordering and all of those
facility
things.
Management.
Yes, yes.
No, I get it.
Communication with customers, all that stuff. So I still am able to be in the classroom, not as much as I would like to be.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, it was a transition. It's been a transition.
But the studio space, is set up in a way that you're still interacting. I mean, not only like with your team and your staff, but the students that are coming in as well. Like you're still part of that daily interaction with the kids. I mean, there has to be an energy to that.
Oh, absolutely. When I'm not teaching and I'm at the studio, my door is always open. Yeah. And I'm interacting with the kids and the parents and walking through the classrooms and helping out, seeing what the teachers are doing. So it's absolutely a collaborative environment. Yeah. Never boring, never dull. Yeah. Always something fun and exciting going on in there. So, of course, I'm going to be involved if I can be.
Are there parts of all of us, and actually before we came on, we were talking about social media and marketing and just add another hat of things that you have to wear at times. Are there aspects of running the studio and running the business that you have found that you like? I won't say just as much as teaching and dancing, but maybe close?
That's a really good question. So one thing with Bold, we try really hard to kind of make it more of an experience for families. Yeah. So it's not just you come to dance and you leave. And you probably know walking in our doors, that lobby is always decorated different. Yeah. We have a theme for our recitals and we dive in. There are so many things that we do. We work with people in the, other businesses in the community that are involved with our theme. So I think the planning of some of these events and finding ways to make it more, like I said, an experience for our families, I've learned is something I've really enjoyed. I love mentoring my staff. I have the best women working for me right now. When we started, it was just me. Yeah. I've got a staff of 20. I mean, it's crazy. And they are just the most amazing women from all walks of life and just love my kids the way I do. So it's been really fun to kind of learn about each one of them and their strengths and kind of help them grow and learn too. So yeah, there's some parts that I didn't expect that I would like as much as I do, and I definitely do.
20's big.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It grew fast, I feel like. But it's been amazing because I think it's so good for the kids to have different teachers. Yeah. You know, they specialize in different things, and the kids have grown a lot because of that.
Yeah. Well, and you get has enrollment grown as well?
Yes.
I mean, just over. So remind me, how many years have you owned, the studio?
Yeah, we've owned 9.
Okay.
When we started, we've over doubled since we started. However, the second year of owning was when COVID hit.
Oh.
And so we really didn't know kind of where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
So we kind of fought tooth and nail through all the things to keep the studio alive, and then came out of that, and our enrollment really grew a ton.
How did you manage that? Not that I want to dive into another COVID conversation, but I mean, but it is I feel like it is a point in time that a lot of people like really got challenged on sort of like what their core is and really what their business acumen is, and how do you navigate this to be successful on the back end?
Yeah, it was a lot of late nights with me and my husband trying to figure out how we were going to manage all of this, because we really let our kids go, I remember, for spring break that year, and we said, we'll see you in a week, and then they didn't come back. So we, in that 1 week, flipped the business model completely on its head. We installed 2 video cameras in every room, which we still use every class, by the way. That has been like a silver lining to all of this. And I had weekly meetings virtually with my staff. We came up with what content we were going to put out for the week, whether it be routines or workouts or different style combinations for the kids. And then I would be up all night editing the videos, and we put them out on, a page. We did a drive-by pickup for costumes that year. So I rented a U-Haul, and it was in Iowa State's parking lot, and handed them out as cars drove by. And we did a park recital actually at a park in Slater, and had 1 or 2 kids dance at a time, and kind of made it into this big red carpet event for them. It was one of those things that we just had to kind of grind and figure out how we could keep not only the business alive, but dance around for kids. They needed that more than anything. Yeah. We talk all the time. If we can get through that, we can get through anything.
Correct. Yep. I agree with that. So you had mentioned a bit about, the staff culture and the culture of your team. One of the coolest things, so I mean, this is new to me. I mean, dance is new. To me and my family. I'm learning a lot just through the lens of our daughter, who I think has been with the studio 3 years or so now. Yep. It is everything to her. And I'm being serious. I mean, she is constantly wanting to show dances that she is choreographing, and I mean, she can't shut it off. Yeah. I mean, like that's
relatable.
And I'm sure that is a very common theme across a lot of the students, that attend. Like they just can't shut it off. I mean, she thinks about it all the time. But it really, to me, that's a testament of the culture that is being that is established there, and what she is feeling of that culture.
I appreciate you bringing that up. The culture of our studio is something that is the most important thing to me, because there are studios out there that have their focus maybe in other places and don't have that piece. So it is something that I am constantly working on with my staff and my kids. We teach these. If you come to recital, you hear me talk a lot about. We teach these kids life lessons, and they learn a lot of those things, and we don't take that for granted that they're learning those things in our walls. So we spend a lot of time with the kids teaching self-confidence and being kind to others and making sure that we're doing things in the community. I mean, we do a lot of community outreach and things to help each other. So I'm hoping that those influences that we're putting it before them are making a difference in their lives. And also we want dance just to be a fun, safe place for kids. They need a place where they can just go have a good time, not be behind a screen. and learn how to be confident. You know, I've had a lot of kids now who have graduated who have come back and talked about how their time with us at Bold has really influenced their path in the future, whether it be some of our kids that have gone into dance. I've got a handful that actually we're coming back here soon to teach some alumni stuff for us, which is awesome. But, you know, I've got some kids that went off to be lawyers or doctors or teachers or moms who have said, you know, the things that I've learned at Bold has helped me immensely through my adult life.
Well, just, you know, being part of or experiencing it, you know, from the crowd, the fact that, you know, like this recital, I mean, you build all year for this. And, you know, I know that, you know, there's some students, they're part of like, you know, one dance or two dances. I don't know what our daughter was in, 6 or 7. I mean, it was just it felt like a crazy number. That's not even the highest, you know, of all of your students, but it is a lot. And I just think about like the time and dedication that, you know, all these students are putting in, but then it's not lost on me, and it doesn't feel like it is for you and your team either, the fact that they're performing these things literally in front of 400 people. You know, I don't know what the City of Ames Auditorium holds, but it is packed. 900. Okay, 900.
It's
so I sold it short there a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get up on that stage and to watch kids. You know, I've had, I don't know how many kids who have come to me shy and I have to, you know, walk them into class, or mom has to sit in the room the first couple weeks or whatever it is and watch them evolve into somebody who's up on that stage and it's nothing anymore. You know, it just that seeing that evolution and confidence of kids is so important.
You have to see that almost every year, though. I mean, with new students that come in and then, you know, eventually as it progresses, they have this understanding of what's going to take place, but it still doesn't make it easy.
No, it's a process. But, you know, we do it every day. So, you know, watching that happen every day, I mean, it's an honor to be a part of that. So,
well, and the thing that I like about it is, you know, and you had mentioned that you want it to be fun, and of course you do. You know, you want you insert another sport. You want basketball to be fun. You want practice to be fun, but you also want to coach and train them in a way that you're putting on the best performance that you can put on. And that's different for students who are 6 years old versus middle school students versus the high school students who are part of your competition crew. Like those expectations, you know, they rise as they get older and as they take it more serious. And I would imagine that not every practice is full of smiles and it's okay. I mean, you have to get after them a little bit.
There's moments. But you know, again, we are teaching technique. We are teaching skill. So we do take that seriously. And I mean, there are classes that are maybe more intense than others. But you know, along the way, we've talked a lot about just kind of our culture and all of those things. I just think that keeping in mind that we're meeting kids where they're at is one of the main things for us. So whether it be one of our, you know, brand new rec babies that's 3 or our competitive kids, we want to push them to be their best selves, but we also want them to be confident with who they are and see where they're at, and we take it from there kind of a thing.
So then how do you, you know, sort of calibrate that across your staff? I mean, I know that, you know, we had talked about it some already, but I would imagine that you have some teachers who they did competitive stuff and they love the competitive. And I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know this for fact, but I would imagine that out of 20, you have some that have really done that at a high level and they want to instill that seriousness in them. You probably have other teachers who are more maybe on the lighthearted side. And so how do you get like this balance between your team that you have both?
Right. So in that sit-down interview, when I'm first interviewing staff, we really talk about right off the bat, you know, where they see themselves succeeding at Bold. And, you know, I've got some staff that they thrive on, you know, that competitive piece. I have other ones that are, you know, fluffy, and one was a apprentice for hire at one point in her career, that, you know, their thing is the babies. So we really find teachers and kind of where they're the strongest, and I try to make sure we kind of enhance that and help them grow in those roles and put them where they're going to be the best for our kids. Yeah.
So when I unpack, and I'm going to kind of use recital sort of as like this point of reference, because again, there are so many age groups. There are so many different styles of dances. Actually, this is probably a good opportunity just to talk about like the different things that are offered just through your studio, and I'm going to miss some of them. But I mean, we're talking about styles of tap, ballet, jazz, hip hop. I'm familiar
look
with
at
many
you.
of them. Well, I'm
Yep,
reading
yep.
it, but I'm familiar with many of these now just
Yep.
because I've watched it. I'm going to keep going. There's a heels class, musical theater, pom, and they're all different styles. They all do different things. I actually really appreciate the types of music that you and your team pulled together. That's actually kind of what makes the recital fun, because it's like new versions of some popular songs that fit the style. But how do you and the team stay up on all of these styles? Because I would imagine that it's an evolution. I mean, I would imagine that the hip hop of today is different than what it was even 6 years ago, for example.
Right. I feel like I'm getting almost too old for some of this new hip hop. But I mean, I've got teachers. It's amazing, actually. I've got some teachers that are current or recently past coaches at high school levels. I've got multiple that were on Iowa State's team or are currently on their team. We do a lot of collaboration. So if a teacher's like, hey, I want to find the right song for this class, can you sit down and we'll go through music together and see what fits them. So we do a lot of collaboration with our teachers. We have mentors. 2 of my staff that have been there the longest also help kind of with some of that with some of our new teachers. And then professional development. So multiple teachers and myself are certified in what's called progressing ballet technique. So that is like a mixture. Best way to describe it is like a physical therapy and ballet. So it really focuses on the muscle memory of certain muscle groups for dance specifically. I got certified for Dance Masters of America last April.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That sounds like a big deal. Is that a big deal?
It is kind of a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So it is a national company where I'm part of Chapter 34 here in Iowa. You had to test out of that, both, written, verbal, and demonstrate in front of a panel of members. So recently a member of that, excited to see where else we can go with this. They offer all sorts of things for teachers and kids. And then I yearly go to Vegas for a dance teacher and owner conference, which is coming up here in August. And, I would be taking classes both in dance and, the business side of things to kind of keep up with what's new and coming in the industry.
Is that a good way for you to sort of recalibrate on the business as well? I mean, it kind of gets you back to the roots of teaching and dancing, and probably you at least get some mental time off from, I don't know, the finances and and all of those other logistics.
Yeah, I love it. It is something where I come back every year just feeling the fire again. So I think I'll probably go as long as I can. But, on top of that, it's networking with, I think last year there was over 1,000 dance teachers or studio owners that attended. And sometimes being a studio owner, it's kind of an isolating job. There's not a lot of people out there that do this job. So to have connections with other studio owners, I made friends with someone from Canada and South Dakota and Utah. And we sat down and said, how do you do this? What do you do? What ideas do you have for this? And to be able to bounce things off of each other was incredible, just worth it just in itself. So I love it. I come back every year kind of writing and documents ready to take into the next season of things that I want to change or add. So it's great.
This episode of the Area Podcast is sponsored by...
You will be told to follow certain rules for success. And you will follow your instincts instead. You will envy the person who can log off for the day. And you will accept you are not that person. You will start 1,000 sentences with, "This might sound crazy, but what if?" And you will do that crazy thing 1,000 times. Because you love what you do. And love will make you do crazy things.
At Northcrest Community, we've made a lot of changes in the last 60 years, but the best things have remained the same. I'm Dawn Borwig, CEO of Northcrest, and I want to tell you why. When you choose Northcrest, you're beginning a new stage of fulfilling, worry-free living. Say goodbye to the burden of home maintenance and hello to an active, engaged community. As the only nonprofit, locally owned and operated community in Ames, we guarantee you a home and our care for the rest of your life. When your needs change, you stay right here, in your community, near your friends and your family. At Northcrest, no one is ever asked to leave because of a lack of funds. That's our nonprofit mission. That's the Life Care Promise. Our residents will tell you, don't wait, don't put it off. Come enjoy all the benefits Northcrest Living has to offer. To learn more, visit our website at northcrestcommunity.org or call to schedule your tour with Kimberly today.
Just south of Iowa State University, in the heart of the Midwest, sits the Iowa State University Research Park, 550 acres of opportunity and innovation. With over 1 million square feet of developed space, it's home to more than 145 tenant companies, from startups to global leaders. Discover innovation hubs, collaborative spaces, and a community that's shaping the future. Whether you're scaling up or starting fresh, ISU Research Park has room to grow. Visit isupark.org to learn more.
We're going to go back to culture here a little bit, and this is going to be more how you establish the culture within each class and with the students. And I'll tell you, the thing that I absolutely love the most, but I wasn't prepared for the first time we went to recital, is how much encouragement is audibly heard throughout the entire recital from other students. I mean, so a crew comes on and they're getting ready, and you're hearing let's go, Nicole. Here we go. I mean, and like all these other girls are encouraging other girls from side stage, from the audience. I thought this was sort of like a sit and get type recital. It's fully interactive.
It is, yep. And
Fully.
not everyone loves that, but I will say.
I like it.
I like it too. I think that it really gets the kids on stage kind of amped up, first off.
Yeah.
But two, just that connection with the kids cheering each other on. That is what we want.
Yeah.
And that's what we encourage. And so in all of our classes, throughout the season, we have different events for the kids. You know, again, we do dance, we teach technique and skill. That is the number one thing, but also those connections with each other and those life lessons. So we have, our Spirit Week, and we have different events throughout the season that we do these bonding activities and make them interact with each other. And it may be, workouts with a partner, whatever it is. So we get them to kind of get to know people maybe that they wouldn't know outside of the studio. We show, so we have 2 rooms going at all times. We'll show each other dances and, encourage them to cheer each other on and get to know each other. So we try to provide opportunities to grow those relationships in that environment. And then, you're seeing the results of that at recital.
Well, you can see it, and you just know, like, this encouragement happens throughout the year as well, that's the part where I found to be really cool. Like, this isn't like performative as far as the encouragement isn't performative. You can tell like that happens throughout the year. And you know what? It's going to happen on the biggest stage as well.
Right. And I know that some studios, they struggle with maybe, so the saying is, dance moms or, mean behaviors within the studios. We don't do that.
Yeah.
If that happens with us, we put an end to it right away.
Yeah.
It is a safe space for kids to come and evolve as people and then have that support from other kids. And so, we do everything we can to encourage that in our space. And like I said, you are seeing that when we get them up on that stage.
Well, and good for you for being aware of it. And I would imagine that you've had opportunities where like you did have to nip it in the bud, and you've likely been successful with that. And then it just getting in front of it creates a really positive culture for something that adults as well, but certainly students, where like this is a vulnerable activity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are doing things new for the first time, and they're on display for, even if it's in your class, they're on display for other people, and you're not going to get it perfect and right the first time. And so you really need that space to go out and to be able to just try it. You know, I mean,
yes.
and that's not easy.
No, it's not. And I think we joke at the studio that my office is the therapy room. We've had many, talks one-on-one with kids in there about different things going on at dance and getting them back on track and encourage them to get up and try again. Because like you said, you're not going to get it right every time, the first time and all the things. So, I mean, it is a vulnerable sport.
Yeah.
But everyone's going through that experience. Right. And so knowing that you have other people to lean on through that is important.
Does it continue to exercise like your mind on like all of the choreography? Because, I sit through and I'm watching, all of these different recitals. Our daughter did 6, 7 different ones. And I mean, and she's locked in. I mean, like she knows the routine. I mean, I tried to, learn a routine. I'm just trying to learn one in a short amount of time. And it's taxing.
I was waiting for you to bring this up.
Yeah, thanks. I'm hesitantly acknowledging the fact that, yes, I did the daddy-daughter dance, and Caitlin just signed us up and said, we're doing it. Okay, that's good.
She did that. Yeah, it does take a lot of creativity to kind of come up with something different every year. But I will say, again, my staff is incredible. Like, their ideas are always so innovative and fresh.
So are those all organically generated within the studio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So every teacher has the creative freedom to come up with their own choreography, costuming. I mean, obviously, I oversee that to make sure being appropriate for children is the number one thing with us too. But yeah, they get to kind of come up with their own vision, and I think that's important as an artist that you have that space to do that. So, so every teacher kind of comes up with their own thing, and it's fun to see how teachers kind of function differently. Yeah. Some teachers, their choreography is done for next year already. They have the costumes picked out.
What?
Yes. And then there's people like me who I like to get into the classroom and kind of play with the kids a little bit and see what fits them well, and then take it from there. Yeah. So, it's all kind of an organic experience, watching it from, the first idea to watching the end result on stage with the choreography and the kids. Well,
I don't know why I thought that maybe there was just some pseudo assistance on choreographing some of this, not to diminish any ability or talent, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And especially, I'll just speak to sort of like the higher level. I mean, some of it is just very expressive. And when you have, say, 20 students on stage, they're all kind of doing something slightly different at times, but it's very like cohesive. And at times it has sort of like this wave movement of stuff. Like, I don't see it. I mean, that's a skill set that, I just don't have.
Yeah, it's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
I think that you will listen to music and you find something that moves you. And I think as a choreographer for me, I'm going through this right now with some of the dances I'm getting ready for next year. Yeah. I can sit there and kind of see what I want on stage, and then I get out into the studio and kind of figure out how to make that vision come to life. Yeah. So it is a process. I appreciate you even thinking about that, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand the hours that choreographers put into putting a piece together, making it look good, the different parts, the ripples, whatever it may be. But also, we want our kids of all levels to shine and be proud of what they're doing on stage. So making sure that everybody is comfortable and confident in what they're doing. Yeah.
I can tell as well that I would imagine this is a decision that is made, but how, the students move, let's say there's 20 on stage, how they move from the back to the front or from the right to the left, where, nearly every student sort of has that equal attention where they are, the focal point, or certainly front and center on dances. But that's just another variable that if you're paying attention, it's pretty obvious that the teachers are doing that. But it's just another thing that you have to think about.
Yes, and that is something. So we have kind of a beginning of the year gathering of our staff, and I'm probably over the top. I give a binder every year with all sorts of information in it, curriculums, all the good stuff. We do talk about that specifically, that every dancer deserves a place,
Yeah.
in that front row to shine at some point in their dance. So whether it be, the super competitive kid or the one who's just doing it because they want to experience dance one year, whatever it may be, we want every kid to have their moment. So I love that you notice that, because that is something that we talk about a lot, and making sure every kid, their solo parts sometimes. It's not always, again, the super competitive kid that's getting those parts, because we want every kid to have their moment up there on that stage. So
it seems like every year probably has a certain emotional component for you in it. And I would imagine with other teachers where, you got to say goodbye to some students. No, I know, I hate to bring it up, but you, especially now that you've been in this for so many years, that, you've seen them when, they're short, and I'm raising my hand, as a, indicating a short student, but then they grow and they become a high school student and senior, and then all of a sudden, like, they're launching into the real world. And quite honestly, you've been an integral part of not only that student's life, but that their family's life as well.
Right. I'm going to age myself when I say this to you. This is my 20th year teaching. So I have, gone through this for many years, and it just doesn't get easier. Teachers in schools, they get that opportunity to have a kid in their classroom for, 8 hours a day for a year. Like you said, some of these kids I've had since they were 3 all the way to 18 when they graduate, and then some after in my adult classes.
Oh, yeah.
So it is almost like grieving every year. You feel like you're, losing a piece of your family. Yeah. However, watching them find their voice after they leave and knowing that you impacted that is just such an honor. And so I'm just so grateful to have that opportunity. And you bring up, the families. You really get to know some of those families. They're sitting in your lobby a lot, So, and, they become a part of what's happening too. Yeah. And so, it really is a community and a family that we've built. And we just love to see where these kids end up. And like I said, we've had them in all sorts of career paths, and I keep track of them. I can't tell you how many times kids come back in town and we go get coffee. Yeah. I make sure that I'm still, touching base with those kids, because they were a big part of my life for so long. So.
Well, even the parents who maybe you don't interact with, I think that you are aware, just based on this conversation, the fact that you and the other teachers and the studio as a whole is a big part of their life. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not, I'll drop our daughter off, and it's usually from the parking lot, and I don't go in, and, I'll see you every once in a while, but the dance is a huge part of our life. And so I'm just extrapolating that I would imagine it's a big part of a lot of families' lives. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like it's lost on you or the entire team. It seems like you're very aware of it, and you're honored for that and take it seriously as well.
Absolutely. It's a responsibility that we don't take lightly. And so, like I said, we do everything we can to make that experience for both kids and families the best that we can. And we just do everything we can to make sure the people that come through our doors know they're loved and seen and all the things. So, it is something that we talk about frequently. You would be shocked at how many times we sit down for a staff meeting, or I'm at home talking to my husband, and I'm like, oh, this kid's going through this. What can we do to help? Or, or families, it comes up in conversations all the time. We genuinely care about our kids and the families. So it makes me happy to hear that you are noticing that from, your side of the table there.
For sure. Another piece of the dance that I really like is just the pure physical activity part of it. I feel like it's so easy for adults, and certainly students as well, to just have this desire to want to sit around and, I'm not knocking video games, but to, just to do that type of stuff. And like, when you have to engage in like this physical activity, but it's paired with this mental capacity to remember choreography and, from what did we do last week into this week, and how do you roll that into, like a full dance and recital with 20 other students. It's just a very healthy thing for students and adults to be part of.
Agreed. So we do have, policies at the studio. They can't have their phones when they're in the studio rooms. And I think with this generation, that's huge, because they don't get that very often.
Correct.
So having those chances for them to kind of put social media down or whatever it is and just move their bodies. And dance is also so it's such a release, like with, emotions and teenage girls or whatever it is, dancing out those feelings is huge, even as an adult. So I think having that opportunity, and then like you said, the thought process behind it just teaches you so many different ways to think about other, school or whatever it may be. Those skills bleed into that as well. And you did bring up our adults as well here.
Talk about it.
So this was part of our studio that I never expected to boom the way it did. But we now have, I think, 4 adult classes for next season.
Okay.
And it is just the most empowering group of adults that have ended up with us here. They've really kind of carved out their own corner in this community. One of my adults in my class, so I'm lucky enough I teach one of them.
Okay.
Mine is all women. We do have some men, hint, hint,
Yeah.
that dance with us. But my class, this last year we had, I think it was ages 18 to 65 in that class. Some who had danced their whole life, some who had never danced and always wanted to. We came up with choreography that really kind of brought them to life, and they all just killed it. But it's
some of the biggest cheers
they're
during
so
the
good,
recital.
though.
I know it's fun.
But it's just really on top of that, just has really formed into this really supportive, empowering community. One of the adults has told me, for that hour of the week, I'm not mom. I'm not wife. I get to do this one thing for me around other people, and it is just the highlight of my week. So that's another piece to this that has just kind of fallen in our lap that has just been amazing. We had another woman, she got a cancer diagnosis and had a double mastectomy, and that community just embraced her. We did a meal train for her for a couple weeks. It just took care of her. So it's just kind of evolved into this important part of who we are at Bold. But I never expected that part to be, as prevalent as it is. So, just having the younger ones there and these older ones there, it's just really a unique place to be.
Well, and I find it to be so healthy for adults to have those hobbies or those outlets that are outside of work and family. I mean, it's just, and you had mentioned it, you're not mom for that hour every week or whatever it is, but it's the community, it's the, you can move your brain into a different direction. One of the things that I find really interesting about just, so there's the physical part of it, there's the mental part of it, there's the stamina, there's the just memorization of choreography. The interesting thing, and then doing it all while being on stage, is, in dance, you're not thinking about what you need to do this very moment. You have to be able to do that while thinking about, well, what's my next thing that I have to do? Which that mental exercise can really pay off in school and in their professional career moving forward.
And on top of that, how what I'm doing affects the people around me. And watching out for the people next to me and what they're doing, and things go wrong, people fall, things happen, and being able to on stage, pick up and keep going, or how can I problem solve this really fast? It does. It teaches you all sorts of skills that you would not expect unless you were in that world.
So I play music, we play in a blues band, play with some, other guys, and one of the most fun things, I find parallels between the two because it's fun to play, but it's also fun to hang out, to speak to the community part of it. But one of the really just fun things in what we do is when, we're playing live and then suddenly we need to pivot for whatever reason. And so there's this certain amount of improv. And so just to kind of respond to, what you had said as far as the dance part of it, you have to think about how is this impacting the person next to me? Because I know when we move here in 3 seconds, this person's moving in front of me or behind me, and it's probably not perfect every single time, but how do we, adapt and make those decisions in a very short amount of time to be able to make this performance very successful for the audience?
Those, it happens more than you would think. And also, we've had times where kids are sick at recital. And so last minute, we're trying to figure out how to, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of remap how our formations are, or you're going to do this lift now, you know? So there is a lot of that, just being flexible and learning those skills.
And the fact that a lot of these students are willing to be able to pivot, I mean, they don't even understand the life lessons that they're learning as a result of this.
Right. I 100% agree with that. We've had kids that, you know, as they've evolved, they become these leaders and, you know, can step up to things like that at a blink of an eye. And it's really fun to watch, man. It's really fun to watch.
Do you have a favorite style of dance? Or maybe top two? Let me start over. Do you have maybe a top one or two of ones that you like to teach, and then ones like you would perform, you know, like if you were part of a group? And maybe they're the same, maybe they're different. I feel like they could be different things.
You know, I love lyrical. And
describe lyrical for those who might not know.
It's kind of a mixture of like ballet and modern dance. It's very expressive, brings kind of the lyrics to songs to life. Love lyrical. I love hip hop.
Okay.
So kind of different ends of the spectrum
there.
Yeah,
very.
I like pom. I think that's the Iowa State dance teamer in me coming out. And I really like tap. And that's something I didn't expect from myself when I was younger. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of learned to love it.
What is it about tap? That one feels hard to me.
It's very hard. It's just a different way of thinking. You know, the mind-foot communication there is very different than other styles of dance, and just the musicality in it is so different. I've learned to really love to kind of play with choreography with tap over the years. And honestly, I love teaching all three of those. Yeah. I also did production for the first time this year. And
so tell us what that is. I know, but.
Yeah, so for our team, we did a production, and it was a routine. Ours was about 5 minutes long, which is pretty long for a dance.
Yeah. It was great, by the way, and kind of intense.
Thank you. It got it, again, snowballed from that first, thought of like, maybe we can do this. And then it turned into this big deal. But it was ages, we had 2nd grade through 12th grade in that one. So all sorts of ages in there. We did Where the Wild Things Are. Yeah. We had some of our amazing staff do some really cool props for us. Yeah. So it was really creative and different and fun, and to have those different age groups. And that in itself, that class, watching those relationships build with the littles and bigs was just magic to watch. I mean, they really formed these lasting friendships, and the mentors that these olders are now for these kids was amazing. So,
those younger kids are going to be next level in a couple of years. Just the fact that they were around like very serious dancers, like as a part of I mean, it was production, but a part of that crew. I mean, I would imagine like they're just watching and be like, okay, like we got to level up here. And they did. I mean, it was fun.
Yes, to watch their evolution just over this year, dancing with those big kids. You know, the pressure was on. They were watching. Yeah. So I agree. They're going to have some massive growth. We're excited to see it. But just kind of working with that one this year was really unique for me. I was nervous, actually. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. But it just, watching what it did and how it evolved was just like magic from a teacher's, eyes. So it was really fun.
Lyrical's popular in our house, and it's funny because musical theater is fun too, but I feel like there's just like this storytelling component that is just really appealing to people in that, or the students, in that it's very expressive and you're just telling this cohesive story. Whereas, hip hop is, I would imagine, a ton of fun to do, and it's a little more in your face and like,
it can also tell a story.
It can also tell a story.
And I do think that's why so many people are drawn to dance is you get to be someone else for a while, and you get to tell stories, that maybe aren't yours, and bring music to life. So I mean, lyrical is a big one. Contemporary is a big one. I agree. I think that is, it's just dance in general is such a unique thing because it's a sport, but also so
artsy.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. So what's on the horizon? What's next steps for the studio? You've grown. You've built a great culture. You're going to have new students that come in. You're going to have, new styles of dance that I would imagine that, over time you're going to explore. But what keeps it exciting for you as you move into the next, I don't know, 5-10 years? I mean, I don't know.
I hope longer than that.
Yeah,
Is the goal.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you know me, I am always thinking kind of the next thing and what we can do to improve and grow. So, I'm constantly kind of trying to find new things we can add to the studio, things that we can offer the kids and the community. We've been brainstorming a lot. But, you brought up growth. Obviously we want to continue growing, and not just with kids, but, studio. So we would love to get a bigger space in the near future. We need more parking for sure. So kind of, those are kind of the next big things, I think, for us. And then just finding how we can continue doing good things for our community.
Well, give us, I mean, this is, you're the owner, you got the crew, and you got the team. You have to have a supportive family behind you, and I ask only because I know that you do. But my wife and I mean, we work together, and so I know what it's like to. And I don't know that you guys work together, but I know what it's like when there's no off button. Like you don't get to go home and not talk about dance, and so you need that support at home in order to be successful, not just as like a choreographer and dancing, but a business owner and all of the things.
Yes. Before I get into my husband, my parents and, direct family have been so supportive my whole life. So that's been huge. They're at every recital, they're at the front row helping tear down after. So that is a lot.
Because dance isn't as big of a part of your life if you didn't have that support early on.
Right. I mean, they were front row my whole life, every Iowa State game, whatever it was. So having that support is a big part of Bold being successful. Mike, I say, my husband, everyone needs a Mike in their life. He is just the best. I feel bad. He probably does more for the studio than he signed up for. He built our floors in the studio when we moved. Was very involved with when we did the build out on kind of where we put things. He's an engineer, so he has a lot of background in that stuff. He is the music man at recital.
I knew that.
He takes his role very seriously. I mean, he just is kind of the sounding board for everything that I do. I, as a dance teacher, I think this is very common. I care about my families and my kids a lot. And the emotion of that, is there. And so he is kind of that voice of reason sometimes that we can kind of bounce things back and forth on and, make decisions that are best for the business. But man, he is there all the time helping. I mean, he's very tall, so he changes light bulbs for me too. But I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have him.
Well, I'll give you credit at the recital in that you keep that thing moving. I mean, as soon as one, act is done, instantly on to the next one. And I know that there's an order on they're ready to go 3-4 dances out.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, that's a testament to the fact that that's important to you, but your team is back there. I mean, they work hard that weekend. I mean, they work hard every week, but that weekend is a lot for your team.
It is a lot. And we, over the years have kind of polished up kind of how we do things. And it's a pretty well-oiled machine now, kind of how we function. There's a lot of work up front that, again, parents don't see. We have every kid's lineup written up in books for our staff weeks before recital even happens.
Right.
And so, we have lots of staff that are backstage kind of moving kids around, getting them lined up, making sure they're ready to go, running through things if they need it. We have parent volunteers, which is amazing. We know that is a big, important day for families. So we want it to run as smoothly as we can. And also, we're realistic when it comes to the younger shows. Parents that are there for their kid that are dancing, in a 2-minute routine don't want to be there for 4 hours.
Yeah, right.
So making sure we're keeping things moving and, it's going well is important.
Well, it would be very easy if you were more lax on the cadence that you could add several hours additional to that weekend. I mean, it's long and necessary and really positive, but I give you credit. You move it going. Back to one other thing that you had mentioned. So when you think back to, it's like, okay, there's the big stage, but when you were dancing at Iowa State, I mean, you were performing in front of, huge audiences just as far as, was that cool?
It was amazing. I had such a unique experience. And I talk to my teammates about this all the time, to be able to be on the football field or the basketball court during those games, such a different just realm than just, the normal student at Iowa State. So it's so fun. It was so amazing. And then we, would go compete at nationals in Daytona every year too. So, there was just so many sides to it. It was so different than anything I had done before. And I grew and learned so much from that experience. I'm so thankful for it. And you may not know this, my husband was a football player too. So there was some, I think that kind of led to a marriage there eventually, which is also very important and special.
And kind of a common experience.
Yeah, I think so.
In that, like, you're both there performing on a large
and understanding
stage.
that, a lot of people don't get to have that experience. So, it's really fun, and I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to do it. But yeah, man, there's nothing like watching a football game from the field. Now that I'm in the stands, it's not quite the same.
Like, I want to be down there.
I do.
Well, give me a professional win from, say, the last week or two.
Ooh, well, for one, we got second place in the 4th of July parade this year. That was a
shout
big
out.
deal. We loved that. We loved being involved in that. I think, we just completed our 3rd session at the studio. We had an amazing princess camp there that was really fun. And then we did our boot camp for our team kids. And there was just so much growth with those kids this week. And we also have done a lot of community outreach this week, actually. And we're going to be popping up in a lot of events coming up here. We'll be at the farmers market here in August. And we'll be in Huxley a couple times this summer. And so just kind of finding different ways that we can be involved with just the community. So there's been a lot of work behind the scenes on those kind of things. And
what prompts that engagement, like, in the community? I mean, I know from, like, a business owner, I could suspect, like, brand awareness is always good, so you want to be out there. But I feel like it's more than that.
Absolutely. We're always trying to find ways we can do more with our community. And maybe you are aware of some of this with Caitlin being at the studio, but we're always trying to do, outreach with other businesses. We do the food drive for Food at First every year at Bold. We've gone and served food there before. We have done park cleanups for different parks around Ames. We have our Family First program at Bold, where it's funded by our Christmas. We do, like, camps, and all of that money and donations go into a fund that help fund families at the dance studio that are going through hard times. So we do those kind of things. At recital time, we work with Chicken Shed Primitives in Huxley. They do our flowers. This year, we had a book theme recital. We worked with Dog-Eared Books. So we love having collaborations with other people and raising up other businesses. So I think just being involved in the community is so important. And it's important for the kids to experience, to have that community and to see just those collaborations, I think, is really important for the kids.
I will say, and I'm really glad that you provide that exposure to students, because it is incredibly important. Like, any community that you live in it just feels better when you engage with it on different levels. And these are opportunities that, a lot of families just maybe wouldn't have access or the ability and know-how, and who do you call to volunteer? I mean, so the fact that you're sort of navigating that on behalf of the students and saying, listen, it's not just dance. Like, dance is great, and that's the biggest thing that we do, but we also do have this responsibility to do more, just to engage at a different level.
To take care of each other. And to do that with your classmates.
Right,
I mean, just how that just kind of builds those bonds too when you're out there helping other people with your teammates. So it's something that we talk about all the time, and we put our money where our mouth is. We go out there and we try to make sure that we're engaged in the community and finding different ways that we can do that.
That is super cool. Well, Nicole, or Peach, thank you for coming on this episode of the Area Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.